Good day, everybody. Well, there is more reports coming out of India and China, specifically the India news media, which is reporting that there is a continued Chinese military buildup in the Ladakh region. Now, this military buildup that the India media is referring to is based off some observations that it has seen on television reports, and these television reports show some newer models of Chinese main battle tanks rolling off of transports and conducting training exercises. Now, clearly, these videos were obtained through Chinese media. So the question you have to ask yourself, what is this? Why would Chinese news media, which is strictly controlled by the state, release information about a possible military attack and the units that would conduct such attack? I don't believe the Chinese operate like that, so I would have to say that whatever the India media is reporting in terms of they feel like this may be a imminent attack or a build up to an imminent attack, I would find that doubtful. But what the videos do tell us is that China is attempting to verbalize that it is indeed moving forces into the Ladakh region. Now, whether these forces are simply to intimidate and make India move more forces into the region, that's to be seen. But I do believe at some point we will see some sort of military conflict between India and China. I'm not sure it will contain as much ground combat as it will aerial type of conflict. Multi-role fighter plane versus multi-role fighter plane. I think that's the area right now that China questions its ability and would need the experience before moving forward with an operation against Taiwan. The issue that China faces within its armed forces, both its army, its air force, its navy, a lot of training exercises, and this is indicative of communist or dictator-based governments. A lot of training that is conducted by its military forces have predetermined outcomes for political reasons. So you may have a red on blue force such as you do in China, where the red force is the good guys, the blue force is a Western backed military or Western type military, and that's the blue force. Well, it is preordained that the blue force is going to lose. Now, how is that different than, say, the United States? Well, in the United States, the U.S. Army will send its battalions and brigades through what they call NTC rotations, and that's at the National Training Center in Fort Irwin, California. And many of times, the Blue Force, which is actually the visiting regular Army unit, which is visiting what we call the opposing force, the OPFOR, loses to the opposing force, to the red force in our case. And it's not a knock on the actual units that are deployed to Fort Irwin, but it's really to push those combat units to their maximum extent. It's really to judge and push the leadership of these combat brigades, these combat battalions, these companies to their maximum extent. And we don't tend to see that in elements of the Chinese military. Again, they're preordained, so when these units visit these training centers to combat a Western type of opponent, the Chinese brigade, battalion, company that visits these sites usually have a preordained outcome, meaning they're going to win. So they're not pushed to the extent that they probably would be, such as attending a U.S. Based facility such as the National Training Center in Fort Irwin, California. And that's the same for the Chinese pilots as well. We have seen this, and it's just not indicative of China. We've seen it in Egypt. We've seen it in a host of Arab countries where preordained outcomes in training occur. So the only way for China to really obtain experience is to actually engage in combat.